That was 5 seconds of silence, and maybe it felt a lot longer. Maybe you wondered, did this video actually start? What's happening? Why aren't we filling this space? And yes, a mini lecture video is meant to have words and to talk about concepts from the class. We're going to spend a few moments thinking about how we can use silence and the power that it can bring to our helping relationships. So the first question, if we think about silence as a skill, what are some reasons that you as a social worker might want to use or allow silence? So I'll pause for a moment of silence while you think about that. Our silence can mean a lot of things, right? So there's at least two people. We're kind of focusing on the microsystem here. So there's two of us in this dialogue and in this conversation. So our silence, right, if when we use that as a skill, it does maybe similar things, but it can also be used for us in very purposeful ways. So it gives clients the chance to fully present their concerns. So, you know, one thing that you could possibly do as a technique is once someone's done talking, maybe even just count to like 1, 2 in your brain to give just a little bit of a pause to make sure that somebody is fully done talking, because that can be hard to gauge, right? It gives clients time to process and experience what transpires. It allows them and maybe us to collect our thoughts and to think about where we want to go next, what we want to say. Show that helping is a dialogue, and so, you know, again, just giving that space, it can moderate the pace of what we're doing. Sometimes we can get, especially in very chaotic environments, we can kind of get into this mode where we're just boom, 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 and we kind of keep moving forward. It can help kind of moderate and slow that down, give us a chance to breathe. And again, it helps us to use other skills, attending, you know, just being present for somebody. So from our side, this is what it can kind of do, and this is what it can offer. From the client side, what are some reasons we can think of that a client might be silent? And you can think through those and see how they stack up to what I have on the next slide. So there's a lot on here, right? And it's not often dissimilar for what we're doing with silence, but you know, if they're silent, if you just think about, I asked you, you know, a question in this, and I could have gone directly into the slide, but that silence, right, gives you a chance to ponder, to think. I don't know, what would a client silence mean, and how would I respond to this question? Let's say if we were in class, right? So you can give time to think or to feel. Maybe it's them trying to think about how they want to respond. Maybe they're struggling with how to express something, and so they're, you know, they're going through in their brain about how they want to do that. It might signal that they're not comfortable with a topic, that they're maybe not comfortable with the worker. There's a lack of trust, like they're hesitant to go there. Organizing thoughts, feelings of safety to share. Maybe there's trauma, maybe there's a privacy component to it, there's vulnerability. There can also be cultural or social expectations, right? And certain cultures, Middle Eastern cultures, Japanese culture, you know, the less said, the better. In our culture, we just talk, right? We fill these spaces. And so again, to think through those components, when we're, you know, having expectations of our clients, or maybe even what they're expecting of us. And then there's gendered aspects to client silence. And so women are often maybe not the first to speak up in certain scenarios, or feel like their voice matters less just because of the way that we have been structured in our current context. We can also respond to silence. This doesn't mean that we fill the silent space with some kind of response, but we've let the silence happen, and maybe it's how do I move forward from this, right? And not wanting to disrupt the silence, but maybe we don't sit in the silence for 20 minutes of our time. Maybe we do. That might be something that needs to happen, but you can sort of use it as, you got quiet when I asked about your dad. What are you thinking about right now? Maybe more silence ensues, but you've kind of put that out there. Whenever you're ready, I would like to hear what you have on your mind or what you've been thinking about. I can see this is all very overwhelming for you. Maybe they're tearful in their silence. Or do you have the ability to put some of your feelings into words? So we can use the silence. We can use the silence as just that, and we can kind of respond and reflect upon that silence as a way to continue to move the dialogue forward. So silence, another skill in our toolbox.